In this lesson, we'll learn how we can start to combine the effects of multiple cloners to really start to pull off some complex effects. Okay, so for this particular example, I'm just going to start really with a simple sphere and just a basic cube. So what I'm going to do is start off with just a simple cloner here. So let's take our cloner, and what I'd like to do is build up this cube into sort of a long shape. So I'm going to take this cube, drop that underneath my cloner. There we are. So now I can take this cloner, start to increase the overall count on this. In my case, I'm probably going to have to bump up this distance a little bit, so that way we can make sure that they're not interpenetrating each other too much. There we are. So we'll bump this up to maybe 12 or so. Okay, very nice. So we maybe come in and maybe make some of these just a little bit more narrow as we start to get a little bit higher in my count here. So I'll just start to drop this scale down. In my case, looks like something like 95% should work just fine. Okay, and now, maybe just to move this up a little bit, I can go back to my coordinates on this cloner and just move that up a little bit, just so we can make sure that this topmost cube is kind of sitting right on top of that sphere. Okay, so now we have one set of cubes that have been cloned up. Now, what if I actually wanted to come in and have a few more rows of these, so kind of more of these rows of cubes radiating outward? Well, what we could do is just take this existing row of cloners and actually clone those. So let's go into MoGraph, let's drop in another cloner. Now I'll just take my first cloner and put that underneath my new cloner. Now at first you can see that it's going to just take these new clones and just try to stack these sort of right on top of the others. So what I'll do instead is go to this new cloner, go into the object, and instead of linear, let's maybe use a radial method. There we are, very nice. So now we can come in, start to adjust the number of rays that we have here until we find something that works for us. And now you can see we've taken one set of clones and actually repopulated those with another set of clones. Now what's really nice is the fact that this is all feeding through. So if I were to come back to my cube and maybe make some kind of modifications to my cube, you can see it will filter through all these different hierarchies all the way up to the top. Now I can also come in and maybe take my first cloner here. Let's say maybe I wanted to actually bend these around, sort of make these look a little bit more like hooks or sort of a robotic arm here. Well, all I would have to do is come back to my first clone and actually start to bend those, and those should filter through into all of my new clones. So I'll just go to this first layer of clones and go back to my step rotation here. And you can see as I start to rotate that first set of clones, again, that should filter through into all of these. So really, really nice effects here. And again, we can continue to just keep cloning clones. So let's say now I wanted to take all of this and now make more of these. Well, what I could do is maybe just take something like this sphere. I could take my topmost clone and maybe drop it underneath that sphere, so that way it's all parented underneath. Or we could also use a null or something like that. And now with this topmost layer of the hierarchy, we could take that and run that through even another set of clones. So you can start to see really quickly how you can just continue to build up more and more complex effects by using these different clones. Okay, so that's a look at how we can actually start to use multiple clones to build up these seemingly complex scenes very, very quickly and very, very easily.